I'm Gareth Pugh. Welcome to Cwmwitton. I'm a fourth generation farmer here at Cwmwitton, farming alongside my parents Colin and Phyllis on our 1,000-acre holding. We own roughly half of it and rent the rest of it on farm business tenancies and on annual agreements. The beef enterprise consists of 130 Sailor Cross suckler cows, which are all calved outdoors. We grow wheat, barley and oats on the farm to produce a homemade ration for our cattle and sheep. We also grow a protein crop of field beans that we use in the ration to improve the protein for the growing stock. We also have a seed potato enterprise where we produce seed potatoes for Asda and Marks and Spencer's. We became a Farming Connect demonstration farm in June 2012. Today's our first open day where we'll be discussing beef efficiency in the suckler herd.
My name is Rodian Jones. I work for the Scottish Agricultural College as a beef and sheep specialist. I've come here today to do a talk on beef efficiency. Some of the things we'll be discussing today will be the efficiency of suckler cow production. This comes in the forms of fertility, the number of calves reared, achieving a tight calving pattern which can help save labour and save costs. The feeding of the suckler cow is extremely important, and this year we've seen silage quality of varying qualities which will need supplementation with extra feeding. It's important at housing time to condition score the cattle so that any of the leaner cows can get extra feeding and any of the fitter cows can stay on a restricted diet, which in this year when feed stocks might be scarce, that can help save some feeding. But even if you don't save on the quantities of feed, then at least you know that the cows that need more nutrition will be getting the right level of nutrition. By managing cow condition up to calving time in the spring, then if the cows are too fat, then you can get calving difficulties, which can lead to higher calf mortality. So all these factors are very important when we're dealing with suckler herds. So the other major cost in a suckler herd is the wintering costs, and some farms like Cwmwitton here today outwinter the cows, and this can be a useful means of saving perhaps £50 to £100 a cow on feed costs. It depends on what system you've got for outwintering the cows. Some people grow forage crops, or they keep them outside on deferred grazing, or they just feed silage to them outside, and in that case you still need to make the feed for them, but you're saving on bedding and other costs like that. The other factor that I think is important for efficiency, general efficiency in suckler herds, is the size of the cow. If you've got big cows, there'll be a high maintenance requirement for feeding them. So in your breeding herd, you don't need to have huge cows, perhaps 600 to 650 kilo cows is big enough. And by putting good terminal sire bulls onto these cows, you can still get very good growthy calves out of them. Analysing the forage or the silage is very important, because in years like this year, when silage making was made in very variable conditions, then the quality can be exceptional or it can be very poor. And it's important to know what the quality of the forage is, and by spending a bit of money on sampling the silage, at least you know exactly what you've got. If it's high quality, great, you'll save on extra feeding. Whereas if it's poorer quality, then you need to supplement it with extra feeding. Moving on to calves. Calves ideally should be creep fed. This helps to acclimatise themselves to the diet that they're going to be on after weaning time and minimise the stress of weaning. You can get good conversion rates by creep feeding calves. When they're at this sort of young age, 6 to 10 months of age, the feed conversion rate is quite high, and you get the benefit of the extra feeding in higher growth rates. We need to pay more attention to grassland and grassland management, and one way of making more from grass is by adopting better grazing systems such as rotational grazing. We've had some trials in Scotland that have shown that store cattle can grow at 1 kilogram a day at grass with no supplementary feeding. Finally, moving on to finishing cattle, but I think it's important to know when the optimum time to sell cattle is. As cattle get bigger, their feed conversion rate gets worse, and the live weight gain will drop. And this is because of the high maintenance requirements of the cattle as they get bigger. So in other words, they have to maintain their body weight before they do any growth. And so there comes a point when it is economical to sell the animal before the feeding becomes too expensive. And that point will vary on different farms depending on the breeds and systems that they've got. But it's important to monitor live weight gains by regular weighing, and also try and keep a handle on what the feeding is costing you every day to feed the cattle.